Thank you, Mr. Sobrero. So two last parts before we head to lunch. Again, a tradition that the Italian Chamber of Commerce here has implemented, which is a little teaser for what will come next year. So let's turn to the future and what we will look at for 2023. The theme will be space economy, and the OECD defines a space economy as the full range of activities and the use of resources that create value and benefits to the human beings in the course of exploring, researching, understanding, managing, and utilizing space. To expand on this growing and evolving sector, we welcome Anilkumar Dave, Space Economy Advisor, Arter, Emilia-Romagna region.
Okay, so I'm the only obstacle between lunch? Okay, we are raising the bar. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Let me see if it is working, because it's always. Yeah. Okay. Everything is working. Okay. So, good morning. My name is Enrico Dave. So, yes, you already spoiled the theme of next year. So, I only have one mission in this very, very quick presentation, is to convince you that space will be the next hot thing and big topic for next year, and the next year event will be as rich of content as this year. So it was amazing. It was the very first time for me here, and I really enjoyed a lot all the conversation. Okay, so just to convince you this, let me just show you one of the native of Montreal that has been contributed a lot to discussion about space. That is him. So he's from Montreal, as you know, and in a number of episodes of Star Trek, there were a lot of cyber villain, sentient intelligent, synthetic experience and so on. But basically, the main idea is to show you why AI can be connected to space. So why space economy is the next big thing. Well, in this very quick journey, basically, what I want to show you is, I started with, okay, I can see it here as well. I was looking on the screen there. I tried doing one thing, matching with this cloud war, so creating a cloud war on the program of this year, so AI and Cybersecurity, and a couple of documents, like the one is the ESA roadmap, the technology roadmap of ESA, as well as the official document that was presented for the ministerial of ESA that was ended today with, by the way, the last announcement of the new group of astronauts. And I'm mentioning ESA because, of course, you know that Canada is part of the European Space Agency, so it's a member state of ESA, and matching also some of the another document that is one connecting the European Union cybersecurity roadmap. So this is the cloud world. So it's quite interesting seeing that there's a lot of overlappings. And so I want to convince you why AI can be of interest for space and vice versa, and the other way around. So let me just give you a very, very quick overview of how space is considered now. We started from space 1.0, that is basically, the scientific exploration, looking at the universe, looking at the stars, and so on. And then we rapidly moved to what it was the space race. So the late 60s, we all know the Apollo missions, the man on the moon, and the race with the Soviet Union, as well as the real space economy startup was the ISS, the International Space Station, the collaboration, the very first moment where different countries in the world started collaborating together to build what is so far the farthest outpost we have. So it's a 400 kilometers in orbit, big laboratory research lab traveling at 27,000 kilometers per hour speed. And then we are now maybe in the space 4.0. So we have the newcomers, Elon, Jeff, Richard. So I'm talking about them like they are my neighborhood and we are just having barbecue every Sunday. So Elon, Jeff, and so on. But even the new space economy topic, like, okay, let's use space data, space infrastructure, space technology to do things that are not related to space. The most interesting part is what will happen in the future. So new space, cross-fertilization, cross-pollination, as someone said. The new competencies was also the topic of today. So basically, this is just a chart to show you, not if you can read the name of the countries, but just to see the colors. This is in 50, 60 years, how the things changed. You see on the right side, on the left side, sorry, there were only 6 countries in the world who were able to launch a probe to space. Italy was one of them. We are, I don't know if you know that, Italy is the third country in the world that was able to launch a satellite, a probe, to space, and the first two were not Ireland and Liechtenstein, but were Soviet Union and United States. So we are the third, so we are part of that exclusive club. But this is what's happening 60 years later. So a lot of countries that have space capability, maybe not to launch satellite, so, take it not wrong, but countries like Laos, Bangladesh, Rwanda, and so on, they are part of this orange space faring nations, but they don't have the capability to use to launch satellites. So how they are space-related club? They use data from space. They are building services on top of that. So we started, the first milestone, as I said, was the International Space Station. And by the way, you guys are very much in there because that's the Canadarm, as you all know. So I'm not saying nothing new here. But this was the very first cornerstone. So a lot of technologies are coming from space, and a lot of technologies have been tested on the ISS. There is a statistic that maybe during lunch I can tell you something more, that we are using every day something like 20 to 30 technologies coming from space, directly related to space, from the memory matters from the energy efficiency system, from the cooking, from the baby formula that was conceived for space. The interesting part is that now space is also moving the other way around, from Earth to space. So we have the drilling experience. So, okay, you can say that Bruce Willis was already doing this in Armageddon, but now it's real because ExoMars, okay, maybe other missions rather than ExoMars, are using the drilling competencies on Earth for space, as well as the new spacesuits are coming from this sector, as well as the new cargo system, and so on. Like HPC, like AI, like big data, that were conceived for Earth applications and not for space. So literally, and this is not just to make you laugh, but this is a space technology application. And this is from, okay, maybe I was not supposed to show the name, but anyway, and this is part of the very first tender that NASA made for the ISS. There was a problem on how can I clean up the ISS. And this company came up, made a prototype. It's not this one, but then the fallout of that technology is now this that we all have in our house. But a lot of companies that are basically not space related are now working in space sector. So, of course, space is not easy. It's not for all because we have a lot of technology to be developed to go to space, and it's not an easy task. Definitely, there is an infrastructure limit because we don't have GPS, we don't have Galileo, we don't have Baidu, and we don't have GLONASS on space. But at the same time, it's very conservative. We are sending people, we are sending astronauts on space. So we cannot, have something that is unsafe or not certified or tested. But at the same time, we have a lot of automation going on, a lot of autonomy, and we are also in need of some human-machine interface. And AI is also, if you can, think, you can also come into the picture in all of them. So there are a lot of new opportunities, including AI and space, or the other way around. Generally, space economy is seen as a digital economy because we have, yes, the infrastructure, but then if you think of all the kind of applications you can build on space data or on space infrastructure, the telecommunication part, the application for instance, a new market creation. This is just to give you an idea that there is one branch of economy that is coming up, taking advantage of space data, that is called the economy of shadows. It's not shadow economy. It's a different approach. It's a different. So the economy of shadows, precision farming, or consultancy for the commodity. During lunch, I'll give you a couple of examples. But it's a completely new branch using space data. At the same thing, there is this the economy of position. If you see, I mentioned GPS, Galileo, Baidu, GLONASS, that are the major positioning system. The autonomous vehicle, the autonomic driving, the unmanned. They all are using this kind of infrastructure, but they need intelligence on board. So imagine what you can do with such amount of data coming from space, matched with the data that we already have on Earth. Imagine what you can do with maybe AI applied to virtual reality, also for the training of the astronauts. Imagine what you can do. Yesterday I had a great momentum when I visit a video game producer here in Montreal. So imagine what you can do with this capacity connected to space. And of course, we had a talk about the critical infrastructure and key resources. Even here is something where space is playing a big, big role. And of course, artificial intelligence can definitely have a big part on that. Today we had also an very interesting conversation about the new competencies. It is something that we need, and this is something that, so bear on me, just a very quick note about Italy. We are trying to do this on matching space and non-space. You see in red the most known, let's say, space-related district, but in green, the non-space that are matching and coming up, like we also highlighted in these 2 days, the region Emilia-Romagna. So in Emilia-Romagna region, we have the largest big data and HPC infrastructure that could be from HPC, from high-performance computing, to HPSC, the high-performance space-flight computing. So this is something where we are trying also to make space and non-space, but at the same time, in northwest part of Italy, in the robotics, they think about the exploratory robotics, so robotics in other on other planets, on meteors and so on, and resources. So from great missions comes great power. I'm just mentioning, of course, Uncle Ben, so Benjamin Parker. This is the uncle of Spider-Man, but we are going to the moon. Artemis 1 was just launched. We are around the moon, by the way. So we are going to the moon, but basically learning to go to Mars. So what we try to do is also creating new branches of the economy. Marco Di Clemente yesterday mentioned the LEO economy, the low Earth orbit economy. Someone is already talking about the moon economy. Someone is speaking about the Mars economy, but nothing can be done being there live. So definitely we need someone who is acting on behalf of the humankind, at least for the very first stage. And of course, AI can play a big role. Like for instance, just to give you an example, this is the evolution of the cockpit. You see the Apollo, Shuttle, and Dragon, and you see that there's a lot of new things that space was not aware of. UX, user interface, CX, customer interface, customer experience, human-machine interface, and all these things, and a lot of automation, a lot of intelligence. So there is a brand new, let's say, scope of opportunities, like the robotic exploration, as I said, but also having and building outpost on the moon, on an asteroid, or wherever you want. And of course, there will not be any humankind to support where something is not working. You need to have some autonomous intelligence, someone who is working on your behalf. And this is already something that, you do it in a remote way. This is an experiment. This is, by the way, is a follow-up of the technology from the CSA, from the Canadian Space Agency. This is the Canadarm, and that was used for the surgery, for a distance, for a remote surgery. So, you need also to make it proper and to fill the gap, and also to have some smart environment managed again by artificial intelligence. So the last question is, if smart means intelligent. This is also what normally I was told in university. But yeah, it's not a mean that if I have a lot of data, I can get a lot of information. And this is what you taught me during these 2 days. Of course, we might have some issues, because there is a lot of data, and we need infrastructure. We need also to face the growing of this data, like the doubling time, which is a very interesting thing that I learned from my good friend, Professor Rasetti. Maybe some of you knows him. But having a lot of data doesn't mean that we have a lot of intelligence, that I was saying. And there are a lot of, I read this book before coming here, so to be prepared, but it was quite interesting. So it was very, particular in having this concept of if I have a lot of data, do I have a lot of information? I don't know if anybody went to this concert in June this year in Montreal. Okay, it was a concert from Kraftwerk. They're a German band. And they were the first example of a quarrel in space, a discussion between an artificial intelligence and an astronaut. And this happened to Alexander Guest, So he is the German astronaut, because the artificial intelligence and AI told him that, hey, you need to be a nice person. So what happened? He asked for the AI on the ISS, so in a very isolated, confined environment, to put a song. And the song was a Kraftwerk song, was a man-machine. At a certain point, Alexander said, okay, thank you so much, just stop the music. And the AI took it very, very bad. At a certain point, he said, why you want to stop the music? You are not feeling nice with that music? You don't like that? I made something wrong? At the end, the AI said, hey, you should be a nice person. So it's a bit scary. Huh? So it's like HAL 9000, it's like Skynet as the Terminator, but it's a bit scary. So this was the AI. It's a crew interactive mobile companion. This was developed by Airbus in Bremen, and with the first version of AI made by on the platform, the library of IBM Watson. Sorry, Pietro. And so this was the problem. And but the interesting thing was that that was the very first, and this is the only and unique way of collaboration, not way of collaboration, of experiment of AI and humankind on the ISS. Simon. Simon is because, and this is on purpose, is because CIMON is recalls Simon, a brain that is moving on the ISS, and this is recalling, and this is how it is in the ISS. So you see, so it's real, and this was recalling Simon Wright. Who knows who is Simon Wright? I'm pretty sure Andrea knows that. You know who is Simon Wright. Simon Wright is the best friend of the father of Curtis Newton. And Curtis Newton is, this is Simon Wright. Curtis Newton is Captain Future, Captain Slam, I guess, in here in Canada, and so on. So on purpose. And this was the first example of an AI flying and going with a captain, with a human being, supporting in his decision, but maybe not using that song, because otherwise it would have been not that bad. So future is running fast. Space definitely is fundamental, as well as AI. So I'm pretty sure that next year now you will be all here to see how AI and space can work together to design and shape the best and better future for all of us. Thanks a lot for your time.
Well, I'm really stoked for next year. Before ending this year's edition of the Canada AI Forum on Cybersecurity, we'll have a few words from our strategic partners, collaborators, and supporters. So we will begin with Mr. Ruben Sacerdoti, who's joining us virtually. He's the Director of the Regional Department for Business Internationalization and Foreign Direct Investment Attraction for Emilia-Romagna.
Bonjour à tout le monde. Good morning to everybody. I'm very pleased to conclude here this fourth edition of the Italy-Canada Forum, dedicated to applications of artificial intelligence for cybersecurity. This is a very important appointment for us, for Italy, but I think also for Canada. And we were able to renew the event and to create either a stronger connection, a relation between us, between the two territories, Quebec and Emilia-Romagna, Italy and Canada, despite all the difficulties we have faced in the last years. These dramatic events like the global pandemic, the war in Ukraine, I think they increasingly strengthened our conviction that Italy, Europe, and Canada must further deepen their ties and build strong and effective relationships and sharing visions and strategies. Allow me to make just two brief concluding remarks. The first one concerns exactly the coming year, 2023, and the second one looks farther ahead. For the next edition, you have already heard from Anil, we decided together with our scientific committee to focus on the very innovative issue of the role played by AI in the space economy. Without APC, big data and AI, the sector of the space economy and the space commercial flights would not be able to provide the great opportunities for growth and development that it is expected to bring, and would not represent the most advanced frontier of human knowledge. However, we would like to develop the subject in an original and even more operational way, not just discussing a couple of days during the year, but establishing a roadmap in several stages that will take us through the whole year and that will lead us to joint actions, a project, to define joint action and projects. I know this will be a challenging effort for the Chamber of Commerce, but I think they will be able to achieve two new and useful results. Second remark, we would like also to ensure, to guarantee that the forum's legacy of these 4 years has a permanent and long-lasting effects. I'm very proud of the great result we have been achieved through the agreement between Emilia-Romagna region and the government of Quebec. We will soon sign a memorandum of understanding, maybe next January 2023. This agreement will take us into a new phase of bilateral relations towards operational integration. We will strongly connect the innovation ecosystem of the two territories, fostering an effective collaboration according to the principle of a quadruple helix model of innovation, recognizing the four major actors of innovation systems of science, policy, industry, and society. And we will establish stable bilateral consultation procedures aimed at defining the joint strategy to be implemented through bilateral collaboration R&D with innovation based on the subject that have emerged during these 4 years of work. We will activate joint R&D calls, mechanisms for the mobility of students and researchers, the construction of joint research centers, the realization of bilateral and multilateral events, and so on. So in the spirit, please let me to renew the invitation already extended by President Bonaccini to Premier Legault to come to Bologna in January to sign the Emilia-Romagna Quebec Memorandum of Understanding. Lastly, let me to express my warm thank you to the President of the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Canada, its director, Madame Virone, Madame Sarcina, all the staff of the Chamber, and all the staff of Arthur for the passion and enthusiasm they have devoted over these 4 years to ensure the success of this event. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sacerdoti. Hopefully we'll see you in person next year. The next speaker is Agnès Gatignol, directrice des exportations, marché de l'Europe, Afrique et Moyen-Orient pour Investissement Québec.
Bonjour, je vous promets, je vais être rapide, je sais, il est tard. Donc, merci beaucoup pour l'invitation, Madame la Consul. Je ne vois pas notre délégué général du Québec en Italie. Mais merci à la Chambre de commerce italienne au Canada d'organiser un événement si pertinent dans un secteur phare pour le Québec. Pour Investissement Québec, s'associer à ce rassemblement stratégique démontre l'importance que nous accordons au secteur de l'intelligence artificielle et de la cybersécurité, ainsi que notre volonté indéniable de les voir se développer. Les investissements gouvernementaux majeurs à venir au cours des prochaines années en témoigneront encore davantage. Au fil du temps, le Québec a su bâtir 2 écosystèmes solides avec une concentration inégalée de talents, de centres de recherche, d'universités, d'incubateurs, en plus d'organismes qui soutiennent l'industrie. En plus d'être très bien positionné face aux enjeux mondiaux d'aujourd'hui et de demain, l'une des grandes forces de ces écosystèmes est d'être interreliés et complémentaires. De plus, l'informatique quantique est en forte croissance au Québec et viendra à son tour bonifier ces deux écosystèmes. Je pense notamment à la création de la zone d'innovation Sherbrooke quantique qui viendra les structurer encore davantage et renforcer l'expertise en place. Investissement Québec souhaite voir de plus en plus d'entreprises du secteur innover, croître et se démarquer ici et sur l'échiquier mondial. Pour cela, j'abonde dans le même sens que les discussions qui ont eu lieu hier et aujourd'hui. Travaillons à renforcer la coopération entre les acteurs publics et privés pour accélérer le partage des solutions innovantes, le développement des ressources technologiques et la qualification des talents qui constitueront les principaux acteurs de ces secteurs dans le futur. Investissement Québec supporte les entreprises dans leur développement grâce à des conseils stratégiques, du financement et de l'accompagnement technologique. Par l'entremise d'Investissement Québec International, nous accompagnons les entreprises qui souhaitent accroître et diversifier leurs exportations dans un premier temps, et nous sommes également le point de contact principal pour les entreprises internationales qui souhaitent prendre de l'expansion en territoire nord-américain. N'hésitez pas à venir nous rencontrer pour discuter de vos projets. Nous sommes là pour vous accompagner. Excellente journée à tous et merci pour votre présence. Au revoir.
Merci, Madame Gatignol. We'll now hear from Silvia Costantini, Consul General of Italy in Montreal.
I may do it actually without the glasses as well. I wrote it so big. So, distinguished participants, both in presence and online, I'm pleased to be closing the 4th edition of the Canada-Italy Business Forum on AI. I remember the first forum in 2019. A few months after I took my duties here as Consul General of Italy in Montreal, as well as Italian Perm Rep to ICAO. And I'm pleased to see this forum growing every year. And this fall, in person, after 2 years of editions during pandemic. It goes without saying that this fourth session has proved extremely useful to meet again and interact effectively in person as we're doing right now. I'm particularly happy that this year's focus has been on cybersecurity and that an effective interinstitutional collaboration has taken place between all the stakeholders in support of the industry and the business community alike. I refer to the Italian Embassy in Ottawa, of course, the Consulat General of Italy in Montreal that I have the honor to lead, that supported the driving force, the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Canada. And I'm looking at the President and, of course, the Director General, as well as the Italian antenna, let's put it this way, which has been supported by the Italian Trade Commission. And I see here the antenna, well, of course, the representative in Toronto, as well as the antenna in Montreal. Of course, the Canadian Embassy in Italy and the delegation of Quebec in Rome. A tremendous job done by Marianna Simeone. All these institutions collaborated jointly to make this forum a real success. Such a success could, of course, not have been possible without the institutional presence of the Italian region of Emilia-Romagna and that of the Canadian province of Quebec. Emilia-Romagna and Quebec will soon sign a memorandum of understanding that strengthens their bilateral cooperation that I trust will strongly benefit from the discussion on artificial intelligence held in these 2 days. The centrality of Emilia-Romagna in this domain had been well described yesterday by the president of the region, Bonaccini. Let me just recall that Emilia-Romagna's capital hosts, since summer 2022, a few months ago, in the Bologna Technopole, the European supercomputer Leonardo, one of the 5 most powerful supercomputers in the world. This makes Emilia-Romagna the ideal partner for Quebec in this domain. I was particularly happy that the government of Emilia-Romagna, Stefano Bonaccini, invited his homologue François Legault to visit Emilia-Romagna and to sign the Memorandum of Understanding, as reiterated by Ruben Sacerdoti just a few minutes ago. Quebec, and as Minister Kerr yesterday underscored, Montréal, in particular, has always been a fertile environment for artificial intelligence and, of course, for cybersecurity. Personally, I was honored to accompany on Monday and yesterday the Director General of the newly established Italian Agency for National Cybersecurity, Professor Baldoni, to visit top-notch realities such as Ivado Labs and Scale AI, and to assist him and his delegation in several bilateral meetings, including with the Minister of Care. During this two-day forum, cybersecurity has been constantly highlighted as one of the very few real challenges and thus opportunities for humanity in 21st century. Its relation with artificial intelligence constantly emerged, for instance, on the possibility of facing cybercrime and other pressing issues of modernity. Cybersecurity in Italy is in constant exponential development. Countless are the progresses reached since the establishment 15 months ago of the dedicated Agency for National Cybersecurity, whose extraordinary results since its very inception has allowed Italy to be ranked the 11th most cyber-safe country in the world, according to the MIT. Threats towards businesses, governments, the global economy, and the simple citizens are higher today in the current turbulent geopolitical context. This context thus makes cybersecurity not a priority, but the priority to be faced by institutions, the business world, as well as the civil society, in particular when the protection of critical infrastructures is concerned. During this 2 days forum, as the rapporteur highlighted, several topics have been largely discussed. How AI can contribute to the protection of critical infrastructure in aerospace, how AI can be used during the end to prevent cyber attacks. I'm certain that the thought-provoking answer provided during this forum will continue to guide Canada and Italy to work in an increasingly closer way in this domain, as Ambassador Ferrari hinted to in his introductory remarks yesterday. I'm confident that the presence of several Italian startups selected by the Italian Trade Agency, together with the Chamber of Commerce, as well as their several Italian well-established companies like Leonardo and Excellence of the Sistema Italian, the aerospace, defense, and security sector, has provided a strong added value to the forum, and I know that the forum has been a great added value for them, as some of them reported to me. The gravity of cyber threats and the continuous advancement of AI reinforce the need for interdisciplinary approaches as well as for international cooperation, as global challenges require global solutions. A few minutes ago, I was discussing, together with the other 35 members of the Council of the International Civil Aviation Organization, where I have the honor to represent Italy, the urgency to attach a special focus to cybersecurity in the civil aviation sector. The skill sets shortage, gap, and upgrade emerged as a huge challenge. In this broader global context, I trust that by further deepening their collaboration, Canada and Italy can play a leading role globally, especially now that the world is navigating a very uncharted waters. Today, there is no place for isolationism, especially for like-minded countries. I am beyond grateful for this forum, which has deepened the special bond between Italy and Canada, as well as that between Emilia-Romagna and Quebec. I'm also very happy that the theme for 2023 forum will be space. The choice of such theme is indeed in line with Italian government priorities. As the Italian Foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation gives a lot of importance to space and scientific research, as testified by the fact that the Italian government, together with the Italian Space Agency, have proposed in 2021 that the 16th of December, so in a few days, will be recognized globally by the network of Italian embassies and consulate general across the globe as the World Space Day. This initiative is aimed at raising awareness about the contribution that science and technology applied to space lead to the improvement of human conditions to understand the benefits stemming from space activity in everyday life. I'm certain the next year we'll be able to further consolidate our productive exchanges. Let me conclude by thanking once more and once again the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Canada, here in Montreal, and as I said, in the antenna, so to say, in Italy, and all the stakeholders, sponsors, and participants, so all of you, for making this event such a great success. So do pencil in your agendas next year edition in 2023 fall, and have a very pleasant rest of the day. Arrivederci e all'anno prossimo.
Grazie Silvia. Our next speaker is Pietro Goglia, Deputy Trade Commissioner at the Italian Trade Agency, ICE.
Grazie mille Enrico Cremonese. Just a few words, greetings and acknowledgements quickly but strongly felt in French. Au nom de la délégation commerciale d'Italie, de son directeur Marco Saladini du bureau de Montréal, c'est un honneur de remercier vivement les autorités, les acteurs du développement des affaires et de la recherche technologique du Québec, rencontrés lors de cette 4e édition du Forum d'affaires Canada-Italie sur l'intelligence artificielle. Merci pour avoir rendu l'expérience instructive et pour avoir fourni d'excellentes occasions de réseautage à la délégation des jeunes entreprises italiennes venues de Emilia-Romagna, dont Ivado, Meteo Commerce, Pigro, et de Lombardy, ML Cube, Life et aussi de Calabre, Noitec. We can conclude that scientific and technological collaboration in AI and the intelligence of things can always refer back to the intelligence of people, humanity, and attention to the quality of life that has always characterized the activities of Made in Italy products that the Italian Trade Agency promotes in Canada and around the world. The commercial, industrial, technological, and scientific partnership with Canada continues to evolve rapidly. Quebec and Montreal today supply artificial intelligence that Italian companies utilize in decisive applications in industrial processes, work, and consumption. With unchanged spirit and ingenuity, design and creativity in products typical of Made in Italy. Dunque, grazie mille a tutti e alla prossima. Alla prossima.
Grazie mille, Pietro. Now, I would like to introduce somebody that I really enjoyed working with and without whom this conference could have not been created or take place. Please join me in welcoming Danielle Virone, Executive Director of the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Montreal.
Thank you. I promise you I'll be brief, but I really wanted to say some closing remarks. So, mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, bonjour, and hello to all the participants online. I want to start my closing, and I'll be brief, remarks by saying that we are very proud of this 4th edition. It's been an incredible 2.5 days. Thank you so much. This year, our goal was to highlight a topic of critical importance and encourage discussions, conversation that we hope will lead to collaborations between Canada and Italy. We can state with certainty, I hope you agree, that it's mission accomplished. The word collaboration was the most used word during the forum, along with cooperation and joining forces. So, very happy about that. However, I've heard you, that there's so much more work to be done on all fronts. Our panelists and speakers have repeated many, many times, we are all vulnerable to cyber attacks. Cybersecurity is everyone's business. AI is a necessity, but it must be used with caution. Public-private partnerships are fundamental, and international collaborations are crucial. At the Chamber of Commerce, we can commit to increasing awareness within the business community about cybersecurity and its criticalness and the importance to act now. I'm extremely grateful to the advisory board and to all the contributors for the guidance in identifying key topics. I have to tell you, we had numerous discussions. We had so many issues and challenges to choose from. So thank you very much. And I would like to thank each and every one of our speakers, panelists, moderators, rapporteurs, for giving up your precious time and sharing your insights and ideas. You were all a class act. Thank you. I thank the delegates that you traveled to Montreal, so thank you so much for coming to join us in person. And the forum would not have been possible without the institutional support from both countries. In fact, and I'm happy to repeat, that Canada and Italy are great partners and are celebrating 75 years of diplomatic relations. All our partners are up on the screen. I also want to thank the region of Emilia-Romagna. There are many representatives here in the room today, a very loyal partner of the Chamber. And yes, Mr. Sacerdoti, we accept the challenge for next year. We're grateful on the support of many financial partners. A special thank you to Scotiabank, the official presenter. And to all of you here in Montreal and joining us online, I say a sincere thank you, grazie, and grand merci. And finally, on a personal note, I would like to thank my chair and president of the chamber, Carmine D'Argenio, and all the members of my board of directors. And my team, I have to say, for their dedication, incredible professionalism, energy, and passion to make this forum such a success. And a special thank you to Ruggera, my colleague, who heads the Chamber's office in Italy. So we look forward to the 5th edition next year. Until then, au revoir, arrivederci, and buon appetito. Please join us, continue the discussion over lunch. And to our incredible master of ceremony, thank you so much. Thank you.
Grazie mille, Danielle. Ladies and gentlemen, as Danielle mentioned, this concludes the 4th annual Canada-Italy AI Forum, focused on cybersecurity this year. Thanks were already given, so thanks again. For all of us here, please join and continue networking at the lunch outside. For the people joining us online, we hope to meet you in person next year. And this is it. I look forward to seeing you in 2023. Thank you very much.